I have a few props today, so I'm bringing a chair along. Good morning, Landon. It's nice to have you here today. Well, we are about 2 years into the pandemic, and I wonder if any of you back last spring joined in with the many around the world to leap into a pandemic project, whether it was making sourdough bread or, well, I bought some tap shoes, but I quickly learned that me learning to tap dance didn't go very well with Peter working from home. so they sit on the shelf. So another project that I took on was, I thought I would send away for this map that I believe was made in Sweden. They make all sorts of interesting maps of the world with different mountain peaks to climb and all sorts of different features. And this one is a map of the world that it has kind of doodles on the different countries that highlight some of the well-known features of that country. So I thought, I'm going to color a little bit of this map every so often, and I'm going to make a point of learning about that country because I'm quite hopeless at geography and world cultures. So I thought this will be my pandemic project, and I will merge on the other end of the pandemic with this very global awareness. I will be a changed person, and you can see what happened. I got a little bit of, I was very keen on listening to the Dean of Canterbury, so I colored England in, and I'm not sure why I was prompted to learn about Belize, or no, it wasn't even Belize, it was Bolivia, and I learned about the biodiversity in Bolivia, and I did something around the Mediterranean Sea, and then it petered out. Like so many of our good intentions, my global awareness remains very low, and I'm sorry for that. So, as you may have noticed in our Good News Gazette newsletter, I was inspired by the Dean's morning garden prayer at Chinese New Year. He did such a marvelous job, he and Fletcher, of weaving together Chinese cultural practices and celebration with the liturgy of the church. And it was so interesting to hear the psalm with Chinese music in the background as he read it. And I thought, gosh, this is a missed opportunity that I am keeping so culturally focused on what I'm used to, and how nice it would be to learn from Christians around the world. And I have our own practice expanded. So this year in the church, we thought we would pay more attention to the countries and cultures around the world. And specifically, we've got a great excuse to do that because this is the year of the Lambeth Conference in Canterbury. That happens approximately every decade, and it's when all the bishops of the Anglican Communion come together to confer and to talk about matters of theology and practice and to support each other and learn from each other. And again, I can't say I've paid a whole bunch of attention to the Anglican Communion, and that's a shame. The dioceses range from Aba to Zululand. If we prayed for one diocese every day of the year, not just Sundays, but every day, we are looking at a 3-year cycle. It takes us 3 years to pray through the 843 dioceses that make up our global Anglican Communion. It's a treasury of tradition and culture and riches. I've got a tiny map of it here that can give you an idea of the location of the 41 provinces into which those 843 dioceses fit. But I'm challenging myself to just be more intentional in weaving perhaps some multicultural influences into our socializing, into sermons, into practices in the church. And with that in mind, I want to say to you, Shuno haiwa. This is Japanese because today we are praying for thee. And I'm going to have to look at this wording, the Nippon Sei Kokei, which is the Anglican Church in Japan. There are about 300 Anglican churches in Japan, and they exchanged the peace by saying, Shuno, haiwa. So if you are moved to do so, you can say Shuno, haiwa during the peace, so let's practice it now. Shuno, haiwa. Shuno, haiwa. And I'll hold this up during the peace as a reminder. I think that's all I have to show you at Show and Tell here today. What I'd love to do is find a backing. This is a non-standard size. It's 22 by 38. I'd love to find like some foam core or something to back this on so we could have it out at coffee hour and people can write some annotations about things they know about different spots in the world or places they visited or places they want to go or places they come from, and do a bit of coloring. And maybe between us all, by the end of the year, this pandemic project will have come to completion.